A diplomatic quagmire, the US and China clash over Tibet. The US and China are locked in a diplomatic standoff. At the heart of the issue is Tibet. On April 14, 2025, China imposed visa restrictions on certain US personnel. This was a direct response to similar measures taken by the United States just 2 weeks earlier. The US had targeted Chinese officials. These officials were accused of blocking access to Tibetan regions. The situation is tense. Both nations are digging in their heels. The visa restrictions are more than a symbolic gesture. They represent a deeper conflict. This conflict is about human rights, it's about transparency, and it's about the future of US-China relations. The world is watching, the stakes are high. Washington's stance, a beacon of hope or a source of friction? The United States has long been critical of China's policies in Tibet. Washington accuses Beijing of human rights violations. It points to the suppression of Tibetan culture and religion. The US demands unrestricted access to the region for diplomats, journalists, and observers. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the initial visa restrictions on March 31, 2025. Rubio's message was clear. The US would not tolerate China's lack of transparency in Tibet. The Biden administration views these restrictions as a necessary step. It believes they will hold China accountable. However, critics argue that this approach is counterproductive. They fear it will only escalate tensions. The debate reflects a broader dilemma. How should the US balance its interests with its values? It's a question with no easy answers. Beijing's perspective, sovereignty, and the Tibet question. China sees the situation very differently. Beijing considers Tibet an internal matter. It rejects any foreign interference. China claims that Tibet has experienced significant economic development and social progress under its rule. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian has condemned the US actions. He calls them a violation of international law. China maintains that Tibet is open to the world. However, access is subject to established protocols. These protocols often involve special permits and approvals. Critics argue that these procedures are opaque and arbitrarily enforced. They point to the difficulties faced by diplomats and journalists seeking access. China's stance is rooted in its history and its view of national sovereignty. Beijing is determined to protect its territorial integrity. It will not tolerate what it perceives as external threats to its stability. The road ahead: navigating a complex geopolitical landscape. The visa war over Tibet is a symptom of a deeper malaise. US-China relations are at a crossroads. The two superpowers are locked in a strategic competition. The Tibet issue is just one of many flashpoints. Trade, technology, and Taiwan are other areas of contention. The danger is that these disputes could spiral out of control. Both sides need to find a way to manage their differences. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential. The alternative is a new Cold War. That would be a disaster for both countries and the world. The path forward is fraught with challenges, but the stakes are too high to let this opportunity for peace slip away.